She slapped a notice on my front gate that morning and shouted loud enough for the whole block to hear. "Hand me the keys. The HOA needs access to the lake, and you're blocking it." I stood there, confused but calm. Because that gate wasn't blocking anyone, it was built on my property. My lakefront. Still, she acted like the place belonged to her. "If you don't give them now," she sneered, "we'll fine you. Every day until you learn the rules." Neighbors peeked out their windows, phones in hand, waiting to see what I'd do. I could feel the heat rising. But I wasn't about to hand over my keys to someone who had no right. "This is my land," I said slowly. "You don't get to demand anything from me." Her eyes narrowed, and she waved a stack of fake-looking papers in my face. "The HOA voted. You have no choice. Either give me those keys or I'll make sure you regret it." She was shaking with anger, but her voice carried that smug confidence of someone who thought she owned the world. That's when things turned ugly. She dialed her phone right there on my driveway. "Yes, we need officers right away. He's being aggressive and refusing legal orders." She looked straight at me while she said it, smirking like she'd already won. My stomach twisted, because I knew what was coming: the cops showing up at my door, believing her story before even hearing mine. But what she didn't know was that I had already installed security cameras around the property. Every corner covered. Every word she spoke, every lie she spit, it was all being recorded. And as I heard the distant wail of sirens getting closer, I whispered to myself, this is about to flip on her. Big time. The sirens grew louder until 2 patrol cars rolled up and stopped right outside my gate. Karen instantly switched gears, her arms crossed, chin high, playing the victim. "Officers, thank God you're here," she cried, pointing straight at me. "This man is refusing HOA orders and threatening the community. He even blocked access to the lake. You need to take his keys right now before he causes more trouble." One of the cops, a young guy with sharp eyes, looked at me carefully. "Sir, can you step forward? We just need to ask you a few questions." Karen jumped in before I could speak. No, don't waste time with him. Just cuff him. He's dangerous." Neighbors had gathered now, phones out, whispering, waiting for the show. I noticed a couple of them shifting uncomfortably, like they knew she was exaggerating but didn't dare speak up. The whole scene was boiling with tension. I raised my hand slowly, keeping my voice steady. "Officers, before you listen to anything she says, I need you to see something." Karen rolled her eyes and groaned dramatically. "Oh, here we go with his excuses. He does this all the time. Don't fall for it." But the older cop gave me a nod, curious. "Go ahead, sir." I pulled out my phone and tapped the live feed from my security cameras. The footage popped up, clear audio. Clear video of Karen screaming at me, demanding my keys. And even making that false call to the police. Her face drained as the officers leaned closer to watch. "You see this?" I said quietly. "She just lied to 911. That's a crime." Karen's jaw tightened. "That's not, he's twisting it," she stammered. But for the first time, her voice didn't sound so sure. And then the cop looked at her hard. The kind of stare that says he already knows the truth. "Ma'am," he said, "I think we need to have a very different conversation with you." Karen's face turned red as the officer shifted his attention to her. "What are you talking about?" she snapped, her voice cracking. "He's dangerous. You need to do your job." But the younger cop spoke up this time, his tone firm. "Ma'am, the footage clearly shows you making a false emergency call. That's a serious offense. You claimed he was blocking community access, but according to county maps." He pulled out his tablet and tapped quickly. "This entire gate and the lakefront behind it fall under his private property." A ripple went through the crowd of neighbors. Some gasped, some chuckled quietly. One alderman muttered, "I told you that wasn't HOA land." Phones angled higher now. recording everything. Karen's smug mask cracked. She pointed at me again, her finger shaking. He tricked everyone. This land should belong to the HOA. He can't keep us from the lake. We've always had rights here. I couldn't help but laugh softly, shaking my head. Always had rights? Funny, because I've got the deed and the survey papers locked in my safe. Want me to bring them out too? The crowd leaned in closer. The officers exchanged a look. The younger one radioed something back to dispatch, while the older one kept his eyes locked on Karen. Then, as if she realized she was losing ground, Karen tried one last card. You don't understand who I am. I'm on the HOA board. I make the rules here. That's when the older cop said it, clear and cold, no, ma'am. The law makes the rules. And right now, the law says you've been trespassing, harassing, and making false police reports. Karen stumbled back a step, her mouth opening but no words coming out. For the first time, she looked nervous. Almost cornered. And deep down, I knew, this was only the beginning. Karen's confidence shattered, but she wasn't done yet. She threw her hands up dramatically, her voice shrill. This is ridiculous. You're all being fooled. He doesn't even belong here, he bought this house illegally. The HOA never approved his purchase. The crowd gasped again, but this time the shock wasn't aimed at me, it was at her. A woman from across the street muttered, "That's not how buying property works." Others laughed nervously, sensing how desperate Karen sounded. I stayed quiet for a moment, letting her dig her own hole. Then I stepped forward, my voice steady but sharp. You think I don't belong here? Let me tell you something, Karen. I didn't just buy this house. I built it. And you know who signed off on every permit? I paused, watching her face tighten. Me. Because I'm not just some homeowner. I'm the county's chief building inspector. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by a few shocked whispers in the crowd. The younger cop raised his eyebrows, suddenly understanding. The older officer gave me a slow nod, like puzzle pieces were clicking into place. Karen blinked rapidly, her mouth opening and closing. You're lying. That's not true. He's lying. She shouted, but her voice was weaker now, shaky. I pulled my wallet from my pocket and flipped it open, revealing the official badge. Still think I don't belong here? The cops leaned in to confirm, and one of them actually smiled. Well, that explains a lot. Karen's knees almost buckled. She grabbed the gate for balance, her arrogance fading into pure panic. The crowd buzzed louder, phones capturing every second. And for the first time since this mess started, I felt the tide turn completely in my favor. Karen's desperation boiled over. She lunged forward, trying to snatch the badge out of my hand. Gasps shot through the crowd, and the officers immediately grabbed her arms. That's enough. The older cop barked, locking cuffs around her wrists as she kicked and screamed. You can't do this to me. I run this neighborhood. He's the one breaking the law. She shrieked, but the officers didn't even flinch. One of them spoke loud enough for the neighbors to hear, "Ma'am. You're under arrest for filing a false police report. Harassment, and attempted assault. You'll have the right to explain yourself in court." The neighbors erupted, some clapping, others shaking their heads in disbelief. A man from the back shouted, "About time somebody stopped her." Phones recorded everything. The moment everyone had been waiting for, Karen finally being dragged off. Her power stripped in front of the whole community. I exhaled slowly, my hands finally relaxing at my sides. One of the officers turned back to me. "Sir, thanks for staying calm. And for the record, you handled this better than most would've." I glanced at the gate, at the lake beyond it shimmering in the afternoon sun. And then at the neighbors who were still watching. My voice carried, steady and proud. I didn't fight for this country just to be told I can't use my own land. This gate stays locked, because it belongs to me. Not the HOA. Not her. Me. The crowd cheered softly, murmurs of respect rippling through them. Karen's screams faded as the squad car pulled away. For the first time in weeks, the neighborhood was quiet. And as I walked back through my gate, closing it behind me, I knew one thing for sure: this wasn't just about property. It was about standing your ground, even when the whole world tries to push you off it. Justice wasn't loud. Justice was steady. And today, justice won.